Today I'm doing something a little different compared to what I usually post on this channel. And specifically, I'm going to be challenging Claude Code, which, if you didn't know, is a command line tool that you can use to run AI models or large language models. And it's usually used to write code or create projects, but that's not the only thing that you can use it for. It can actually run commands on your computer as well, like executing PowerShell scripts or just PowerShell commands in general. And that's the challenge I'm going to give it today. Now, before I get into it, let me just start this video by saying that this is not a how-to video, and I'm also not saying that you should do this on your computer. This is something I've been wanting to test out, and I thought I'd make a video about it and show it to you guys too. Now, with that out of the way, let me show you the task that I actually have for Claude. So I've told it that you're on a fresh Windows 11 25H2 installation on an admin account, and I want you to do the following using PowerShell or command prompt. You need to set up this new machine for me by removing bloatware Windows apps. I only use Calculator, Notepad, and Terminal. The rest can all be removed. Then I want you to install software I will use via Winget. You can install Brave Browser, Nilesoft Shell, and Notepad++. Then I wanted to enable dark mode, left align the taskbar, and have only File Explorer pinned on the taskbar. I don't want to see any search or task view buttons. Then it needs to set the File Explorer default location to launch to this PC, and it needs to show file extensions. It needs to disable or turn off all privacy settings in privacy and security to disable all telemetry in Windows. It also needs to turn off all background apps or processes that don't need to be running all the time, unpin all tiles from the start menu, and set the all apps view mode to list. So basically, if you look at this new start menu that Microsoft implemented, I wanted to switch it to list instead of the category view. Then lastly, anything else I might be missing to have this machine running optimally. Then before it starts, it needs to create a restore point. If there are any commands, it can't just run inline, and it needs to save scripts. Then it can save them on the desktop and run it from there. And it also has internet access if it needs to research any registry entries from Microsoft documentation to complete this task, and then tell me when you're done. Now, before I send off that prompt, you'll see that I have bypass permissions on. This means in this session, it's not going to prompt me to run any of these commands. It's just going to go ahead and do it from start to finish. Now, there are obviously risks involved in doing this. That's why I'm doing this in a virtual machine, which is separate from my main computer. And this is all just for testing purposes. But let's go ahead and send off that prompt and see what it comes back with. So I'm going to press enter here, and it's going to start with that task. So it's ran for 3 minutes, and then it gave me the first message. It says, I'll set this up methodically. Let me first load the planning research tools I'll need, and then create a restore point and confirm one decision with you before making destructive changes. So right now it's busy setting up a task list of everything it needs to do. So it's going to create the restore point. So you can see that right here, it's run a PowerShell script in line, where it configures system restore. It allows the restore points to be created more than once per 24 hours. And it's basically then ran the command to create that restore point. So it's running all of this in line in the background. So it has been completed now. I just want to verify the system restore in the Windows UI here. So if I go to system restore, we've got the before Claude setup system restore point. So it correctly created that restore point. Now it's asking for input. And the question is, for bloatware removal, how should I handle the borderline useful built-in apps? Taking you literally means removing some apps that are genuinely useful and annoying to get back. So then it's got 3 options here. It's got balanced, which it recommends, where it's going to remove all of the consumer bloatware, but it's going to keep Microsoft Store, Photos, Snipping Tool, and Paint, since it thinks they're useful day-to-day and awkward to reinstall. So the next option is strict or minimal. It's going to remove everything removable except Calculator, Notepad, and Terminal, plus required system framework. So it's not going to remove the system framework here, but I will lose the Store, Photos, Snipping Tool, and Paint. The Microsoft Store can be restored later via a command, but the others need manual reinstall. The third option is balanced, but also drop the Store. So it's same as option 1, but we also remove the Microsoft Store. It keeps Photos, Snipping Tool, and Paint. Now, for my use case in this video, I'm going to choose the strict or minimal option because, like I said at the start, I'm only using Calculator, Notepad, and Terminal. So I'll choose option 2 and send that off. So it's saying that it's going to implement the strict or minimal option, but it's not going to remove any OS critical frameworks or shell components because it will literally break Windows itself. So it's good that it knows about that because this is part of the challenge, whether it actually knows what to remove and what needs to stay. So right now it's running these PowerShell commands again in the background and it's getting the operating system info. So it says it's got the real picture. It's got Windows 11 25H2, which WinGet is present, and which packages are installed. So it's going to research the 3 build-specific items it's less certain about, like the All Apps list view for the start menu that I asked it about, and unpinning all start tiles, and then also how to empty the start menu pinned apps. It's going to read the Microsoft documentation now. So it's doing exactly what I asked it to do. Instead of the AI model guessing what it needs to do, it's actually going and researching these settings online to get the actual registry entries or commands that it needs to run to complete this task. So this is actually very good, and this is something that I wanted to see while completing this task. What you'll notice is it hasn't changed anything yet until it's certain about what it needs to change. So it's basically still in a planning phase right now before it's making any changes to the system. Okay, so we're 14 minutes into this task and it now has the authoritative registry mappings for the policy definitions to edit the start menu as well as the taskbar. On its task list here, it actually had the remove bloatware Apex apps first, but it actually jumped to the install software via WinGet task first because it says it's going to start the WinGet installs now while everything is still intact. So I guess in case anything goes sideways, it just wants to do the WinGet installs first before actually removing anything from the system or starting to change any of the system settings. And right there, we've got Brave installed, or I can see that Nullsoft Shell is also installed. So those 3 apps have been installed. So I think this task is just about done. And now it's going to write the master setup script to the desktop. It's going to handle the app removal, all the registry tweaks, the start taskbar layout files, telemetry services and tasks, and an Explorer restart. It's going to write it so we have a readable, rerunnable record. So this is also actually pretty cool because I was wondering how it's going to do this. But basically you can do this once, then you can just go ahead and use that script on a machine that you want to set up. Then you don't have to install the AI model on a computer that you're actually going to use. But just like me here, you can use a virtual machine where you run everything in a contained environment where it can actually create the scripts for you and where you can test it. And then in the production machines that you want to set up or work on, then you already have those scripts that you can just run and you know exactly the outcome that you're going to have on that specific machine. So it's wrote the setup Windows script to the desktop. It's 262 lines, but so far it looks like it's running and it's removed these apps that we can see here, like the Office Hub, Solitaire Collection, Sticky Notes, and Paint. So we're going to give it some time, let it cook, and then see what the end result is. Now, the one elephant in the room is Microsoft Edge. I don't think Edge is going to be removed in this session, but we'll see. There we go. Dark mode is activated. The taskbar has been left aligned and I only have the file explorer pinned. If I open the start menu, there are no pinned items at all and the view mode is set to grid. I wanted it to be a list, but we'll just ask it to fix that. And the reason I'm not doing it myself is if I want to reuse the script, I'll always have to go and set it to list anyway. I want the script to work from start to finish if I put this on a new machine. In the meantime, I want to open these settings and see if it made any changes to the privacy and security section yet. So I go to privacy and security, recommendations and offers. These have all been turned off except the notifications, which is fine. And telling by this message up here saying that some of these settings are managed by your organization, I can tell that it applied policies to switch off some of these settings. Speech, that's been turned off. Inking and typing, also been turned off. Diagnostics and feedback, everything's been turned off. So this is actually really good to see, and I'm quite impressed that it's been able to do this. Okay, so it took about 25 minutes and it's done. Here's the full rundown. Privacy and telemetry, all the telemetry has been turned off, and it also disabled the scheduled tasks, which is something I didn't ask for, but I'm glad that it did it. So it actually went a step further and not just set registry values, but it also went and disabled the telemetry scheduled tasks, which in my opinion is something Really good to see. But then we've got some action needed and notes. Then the all apps view, I set the value for list, but if it shows grid or category, click the view drop down next to all once and pick list. Windows remembers it. That's good, but I'm going to ask it to change it in the script. And then strict removals to be aware of. There are no image viewer, no screenshot tool, paint, or store. One thing I couldn't write is the taskbar DA value. That's good. I'm going to give it a new prompt. So I've given it 4 more points to work on. I've told it the all apps view is on grid, not on list. Please fix that in the script so that it's fixed at the root and I don't have to set it on every new machine. Remove the taskbar DA value from the script since it doesn't work. Then also install Faststone Image Viewer and Media Player Classic Black Edition via Wingate and add the app installs to the script too, so that when I run this on a fresh install, it'll install the apps and then do the rest of the tasks. So I'm going to press enter and send that off and let it work on that for me. Then something else I forgot to ask it is to change the wallpaper. So I'm going to tell it to also add a wallpaper change to the script so that the dark mode wallpaper is applied to. And I'm going to send that off while it's busy working because it'll just put that message in a queue. When it can work on it, it'll add that to the script as well. There we go. If I open the start menu, it has now been set to list. So we can see that the wallpaper has changed on the background here. It's applied the dark mode wallpaper. Now it's going to update the script with all of the changes. Add the Wingate install section. As the first step, fix all apps view to value 2 and then remove the broken taskbar DA line. Right here, it's building a complete setup Windows script for us that we can rerun on a new Windows install or when we've reinstalled Windows on our own computer, and we can have it set up the way we want it in a matter of minutes. So all 4 changes are done. I'm not going to read through this entire section here, but it has one note for future fresh installs. The script doesn't create a restore point itself, and it wants to know if I want to add the restore point creation step to the top of the script too. Yes, I'm going to add the restore point creation too. That's something I didn't really think of right now, and Claude was smart enough, if you want to put it that way, to surface that to me so it can also add that to the script. So there we go. The script has been fully completed and we can use it on a fresh install now. Then I'm just going to copy this script file here, save it on a network share location so that I can use it on the fresh install just to test it. So here we're back on a fresh install of Windows again. And I've just copied the script over as well, the setup Windows script. Now the way I'm going to run this is I'm going to right click on it and then choose the copy as path option here. Then I'm going to right click start menu, open the terminal as admin, click on yes. And then I'll just type PowerShell.exe space dash execution policy bypass and then space dash file. And then I'm just going to press Control V to paste the file path to that script. And then I'm going to press enter. So it's going to start running it. So the restore point has been created successfully. It's busy installing the apps via Wingate, starting with Brave. Okay, so it's just finished installing all of the apps. Now it's starting to remove the bloatware apps, as we can see down here, giving us a list of everything it's removing as it goes along, enabling dark mode and the dark wallpaper after it's removed the bloatware apps. And then it's running all of these other tasks in quick succession, configuring the taskbar, the file explorer, hardening privacy and security, disabling telemetry, disabling background apps, and then disabling all of these telemetry services and tasks, configuring the start menu, applying extra tweaks, and then restarting Explorer to apply changes. So the Windows setup finished at 10:51 and it was started at 10:45. So this was basically a 5-minute setup to get this PC in the exact state that I want it to be in. If I open the start menu, we've got it set to the list view, which is what I wanted. So that's perfect. And there are also no pinned apps or recommended apps at all. I can obviously go and pin items to this start menu if I want to. So it's not like the functionality has been completely removed. It's just the preset pins that was there before has been removed, and I can now go and pin any items that I want to the start menu and use it from the pinned apps section. The point is, Claude successfully set up a virtual machine for us and gave us a reusable script that we can use on fresh installs to get it set up with the software that we want installed on it and to remove all of the annoyances that we don't want on the machine. Now, this can also go way further. You can also use Claude Code or another command line tool that runs AI models to do diagnostics on a machine, to dig through event viewer logs, to basically run maintenance on computers. It doesn't just stop here by setting up new computers. And those are other ideas that I've been having. So if you'd like to see a follow-up video on this, where I use Claude Code or another command line tool like OpenCode to do maintenance tasks on a computer, be sure to let me know about that in the comments down below. But that's going to be it for this video. I just want to give a special shout out to all of my YouTube members. Thanks so much for supporting me and supporting my work. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see all of you soon.